Chase Quarter, Brandon Harris, we're here today for a coaching session. We decided to record it so you guys could watch in and pick up some pointers from this session. Brandon and I have talked before this, just kind of getting familiar with one another and personal background and stuff like that. So some of the questions I may ask may seem as if I have known him for a while, when actually I have. And, you know, we're getting ready to discuss what Brandon's goal is and what he's looking forward to, and we'll pick up coaching and see where we go from there. So with that, Brandon, you know, what's important to you right now? What are you looking to achieve? What are some things that you expect to get from this coaching session?
I don't know, maybe just some more direction on what exactly I want to do with EMBA. And that's just what I'm trying to figure out right now, what exactly I want to gain or accomplish post graduation.
Okay, so in your current role, what do you see as opportunity there with what you're currently doing with instructing at McEachern High School?
Good point. When I came into this program, I was different from most in that I wasn't sure what I was going to get out of the program, what I wanted to get out of the program. The main reason is the goal was just to get a master's. I didn't have any career aspirations beyond that. And as I, pondered it and thought more about it, now it's just about creating an option or an opportunity. I'm content. I'm happy. I'm comfortable in my role as a educator in the high school level. As a JROTC instructor, I enjoy my schedule. I enjoy the time. All these things that are valuable to me. It's a balance between salary and quality of life and all these things that I can achieve. So I'm very comfortable in my current role, but now I'm viewing, as I delve into these courses and classes even more, I'm viewing it as maybe an opportunity or an option to get to that halfway point in my education career, because my goal was going into education was 10 years, and then retire again for a second time. Now I may look at it as, hey, what opportunities or options are created from this KSU Executive Masters? If something should pique my interest and provide that same balance between quality of life, compensation, all these things, and growth, because I think that is probably definitely limited in what I do is at the education level is my growth. So if something can provide me with an opportunity to grow and maybe challenge me for some future opportunities, then I will research that. So, but right now, like I said, I'm happy where I am, but I know this EMBA will be valuable and maybe providing, especially with the networking that we do, provide me with that opportunity or option in the future.
Okay, so right now, you're good.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking for possibly a plan 5 years from now. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So
and maybe sooner. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess one thing there is the retirement factor, because I know that's a big goal. I think 5 more years you retire, you've got additional income and that kind of thing. So would you say that's a big factor that would affect outlining your other goal?
Well, in learning and everything we're grasping or achieving in this EMBA, it can be something that can be done in conjunction with my current role or employment that I have now. Maybe start my own business or start something. I'll use the fundamentals and tools that I've learned here to start something outside of what I do, but not interfere with what I do. So that's always an option, but the timing is perfect in that I view this just like in the military. When I hit the 10-year mark in the military, I made the decision whether I'm going to stay in and do 20 or whether I'm going to get out and pursue some other options. I think once you cross over that threshold, your focus is more on that retirement than calling it a career in that particular field. Okay. So when I graduate, the timing of this executive master's will be right at around the 4 to 5 year mark in my educational career, and you can get a retirement at 10 years. So if I choose to stay in the field that I'm in, then I'm probably going to see it to 10 years. But if not, if something is through network and some opportunity presents itself that I find more fruitful, then I will probably leave the field I'm in now and pursue that avenue because I will not have achieved that 5 year threshold that I set, just like I did in the military.
Okay. So essentially, you're looking for, or what I'm kind of piecing together, is possibly a plan to identify other opportunities while you're in your current role and you're happy and you're good. So there's no pressure there. You know,
Exactly.
this is only additional benefit
Exactly.
if benefit comes your way.
Exactly.
Because you've got a good solid plan. I think right now you've got a good goal as far as a retirement, and now I think we're kind of working on a secondary goal here to establish. And so, what do you feel, or have you done any research? Or I'm sorry, in a perfect world, kind of let's talk about what this secondary option would look like. So let's say, what kind of job is it going to take to pique your interest, to fit everything else that you enjoy, your time, your freedom, your schedule, and all of that? Would it be a full-time type of role? Would it just be something at a certain salary range?
Yeah, salary, believe it or not, is less important to me than anything. Of course, like all, I want to be compensated appropriately. But again, I balance the compensation with quality of life. You can pay me a substantial amount of money, but if it means I'm not going to have no free time for my kids or family members, then I'm probably going to choose not to take that option or that opportunity, because I value that. I value that my kids are at an age now where my presence is important, so
Right.
I value that over anything else. So, but it can be something full time, but I just want something that, again, that I don't want to have something that demands, 60, 70, 80-hour work weeks. I just, at this stage of my career in my life, I'm not trying to do that. I did that as a younger person.
Right.
So I'm looking for something that I get value from, I grow from, that helps me both professionally and personally. And at the same time, it's a decent compensation. So that's it. So, I really couldn't tell you at this stage. I couldn't tell you what that looks like. I couldn't tell you whether I'm looking at something maybe in the corporate sector, in the finance sector, and in this or that. I don't really have that particular focus right now, because that's not how I came into the program.
Right.
But so, who knows, something may trip my interest. I know I will always be, as a retired aviator. I'm an aviation enthusiast. So if something should present itself in that type of world where I could use both the business side and my aviation background and my experience and knowledge in that area, then that would probably be something that interests me. But until that, it'd have to be something that would be equivalent to that.
Okay. So we're going to come back to this EMBA program. So I think that's that's a plan that we could draw up. You mentioned networking. Do you feel like it's realistic for you now, going through this program, to start looking at this point and start drawing up and researching the options that may be available after graduation? That way, you may not necessarily have to jump into something, so that's fantastic. There's no pressure there, but you'll have an idea of what you would jump into.
And I don't even know. That's just it. So, and that's what probably one of my aims is, to maybe I should spend time, sit down and chart a path, chart a course, or chart some options that I think, now that you mention it, it may be something as simple as, hey, I have my master's now. Let me maybe research headhunters and tell them, hey, this is my background. What do you have for somebody like me? What's out there for somebody like me?
Yeah.
And see what they come back with. And then maybe there may be a diamond in the rough or something. They come back and say, hey, we have this opportunity. Now that it presents itself to me, like, wow, that sounds really cool.
Right.
Is that, would I enjoy that more than I'm doing right now? Because like I said, right now I'm extremely content, extremely comfortable. So it would have to be something like that, because I don't have any. That's what sometimes I feel. I don't even know the word I'm searching for. Sometimes I feel less hungry than my fellow cohorts, people in the class, because my fellow classmates, because I know they are hungry to, move up their corporate ladder or their company's organizational ladder, so they can use this MBA as a springboard for that. I don't look at it that way. I'm just looking at it, hey, if an option or opportunity presents itself, I'll compare that to where I am now, and is it something that I'm interested in? So.
Yeah, and so I think the goal is just identify opportunity.
Right.
Get with the headhunters, because I think, that just as much opportunity is going to be there for you as there's going to be for me or anybody else in our program. It's just we're more in line with it, kind of like what you're describing, that, okay, we see a certain path that we're going to go on, and you're kind of like, well, I'm getting ready to start a path, and hey, the sacrifice can be worth the benefit type of situation. So I think that's something that we should definitely talk about and make a goal and do make some progress towards, is identifying the target of where you want to go in the next, what's available in the next X amount of years. So I think that's definitely something great. So as far as networking, have you talked to anybody in the class so far? Have you made any efforts as far as reaching out to any of those people?
Again, that's the funny part. I have not at all, because, like I said, it's not a. I'm so content where I am. It's not a desire of mine. I'll listen to, as we're in class and we may hear, hey, I got a job here, or hey, I got a job there, hey, I got promoted there. And even to this point, it's nothing that's triggered me to say, wow, I wish I could do that. Or, it's always been like, and I can't sound like a broken record, but it's just when you're comfortable where you are, that it has to take something that knocks you upside the head. And I think also it might be the realization, because I'm older than a lot of my classmates. So I think the reality of, going back to when I was retiring initially, and one of my junior sailors was getting out as well, and he had this headhunter, I forgot, I think they called Allied or something to that effect. But he was working with them, and they guaranteed him a job and got him a great job. So I was like, hey, let me just throw that out there. Let me talk to these folks and just see what's out there for a person like me. And it was funny when the guy, he hooked me up with him, and he told him, hey, this is my skipper. He's great, blah, blah, blah. And the guy that I talked to, he's like, Brandan, I'm going to be honest with you. There's not a market out there for people like you and me. He was my age, and he's like, we're looking for the young, the 25-year-olds that's going to give us 20-plus years in our company and grow this. And he said there's not a real market for, retired, even though you have an incredible skill set. It's just we're not, traditionally what we're in the business of doing, there's not a lot of placement for people like you. And it was very professional the way he told me. He wasn't rude, and it's like saying you're not good enough. He just said that they're looking for the young, hungry guys out there, and not the guys that have done, all this time and stuff. So that kind of put it into perspective to me about, you have to probably create your own destiny, because unless you're an admiral or somebody that a company wants to put in their, immediately put into executive or corporate framework in a high position, then there's not really, besides from my occupation, an aviator, there's plenty of opportunities to go fly planes, but that's just not what I was interested in doing at that time.
You got to have the exciting, something, you got to get. That's we've identified that, hey, at least you're happy, so I believe that, that's amazing right there. I think that's what most people are being coached towards and wish they want to achieve. So I think any additional planning, goal setting, and growing and working toward any target right now is only going to be icing on the cake for you. So I really appreciate the session. I honestly think that we've kind of achieved something here today with establishing kind of a goal, realizing where you're at now, and you're happy, and that's really all that matters. You're not exactly sure what you want to do, but after talking, we know that, hey, we'll start working with some people and looking around locally and trying to figure out where is the demand for you. What is something that's going to benefit you enough or entice you enough to leave what you're doing now. So I think that's amazing progress. I look forward to speaking with you next time. And again, appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Chase.
Sir. Thank you, man. Take it easy.
My pleasure.
Hi, it's Chase. All right, Chase Quarter here, Brandan Harris. We are doing a little coaching session today, so we're going to record it so you guys can watch in and see what we talk about. So, Brandan, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Appreciate it. I know we spoke earlier. Brandan, thanks for coming in.